Why are we shooting this on the hottest day of the year?
We have to do things.
It's been over 4 years since the last Eddsworld video was uploaded to YouTube, and in that time a lot of stuff has changed behind the scenes. One thing has stayed the same though: you guys. Eddsworld's audience today is as big and as passionate as it ever was. So it was super important that we get this first video absolutely right. Welcome to Eddsworld Extra, where we're going to be sharing behind-the-scenes features, tutorials, and other stuff you might find interesting. If this is your first time here, make sure you click subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. My name is Christopher Bingham, team manager and producer for Eddsworld, although you might know me a little better like this.
Don't they know how many monkeys I had to tape together to make that monster? Many!
And in this behind-the-scenes feature, I'm going to be talking about the long and winding road that got us to the finished video Fan Service 2.
Time to get back to work.
Matt Hargreaves, director, Eddsworld.
Yes.
Why did it take 4 years to make a new video?
Well...
Now, after the legacy episodes were completed, most of the production team moved on. The guest animators who worked on episodes like Mirror Mirror, Salunatics, and Fundead had done what they pledged to do, and most of them went on to take other, far more glamorous jobs in the animation industry. That meant before we could make more Eddsworld, we needed to find new animators. And that's harder than you might think. I joined the team about 1.5 years ago, and while the search for new artists continued, I started building back up the social media. You know, all those Instagram originals and stories and GIFs we post every week? I organize and post those with the help of a bunch of really talented artists, most of whom were recruited from the fan community.
We had numerous setbacks, not least of all 3 years of back taxes, which wiped out the entire production budget, which we'd been trying to work out. There were other ventures for the profits of Eddsworld, namely setting up a holiday home to help those who were going through cancer treatments and everything. That was set up by Sue Gould, Ed's mother, and the rest of their family, which is going really well. In fact, some links and details in the...
Yeah, we'll put information
in the
about that in the down, yeah.
Or the up.
Or the up.
They keep changing it. Then there were a whole bunch of people where we brought on animators and then they dropped out. There were a lot of unforeseeable problems that went on, and this group of people that we've got together now are great, and they work together really well, and they're really enthusiastic, and they're pretty talented, but I shouldn't tell them that because otherwise, you know...
Let's not big their heads up.
Yeah, no, we don't want them to move on.
Yeah.
We want them to stay here and work with us for a bit.
They're just good enough to work on Eddsworld.
And that's it.
And that's it. Please stay. We need you. What do you look for? What do we look for? What is looked for in an Eddsworld animator?
Most people think that you have to be able to exactly get the style to begin with. That wasn't necessarily true of all the people. It was more, from my point of view, it was the movement and the positioning where it still feels natural. And for the most part, there were a lot of people who I saw putting in like submissions for animation, like seeing their show reels via either the Eddsworld movie project, which we've stolen a few animators from, and there's probably still a few I'd love to steal more from.
Yeah.
I do jump into
Yeah.
lots of different places and check out people's work. So
Yeah, the fan community's been really instrumental in this, right?
Yeah.
Because there's so many people out there making stuff to do with Eddsworld, reanimating old episodes, working on the fan movie of various fan series. It is actually kind of quite easy to find, you know, to see that there's a lot of talent out there and to kind of get in touch with people.
From my point of view as well, is I studied animation. I watched Ed from when he started doing stick figure animation on really basic software called the Complete Animator, which was like GIFs and other things. Sorry, GIFs, that's the correct way to say it. I'll start an argument with that. No,
GIFs.
It's GIFs.
It's GIF.
GIFs.
GIF.
The creator says GIF. That's what it is.
It's short for the word graphic, which is a hard G. G.
Yes, a graphic interface. When I look at different animators, it's about seeing where they are along that scale. Some people are going, wow, that's really about here, and this is about here. And you don't want them to be completely finished because you want them to kind of ease into styles. You want to be able to pick up new techniques at the same time.
Yeah, there's been quite a lot of back and forth with the team. We have what, 4 people potentially on the team now who are all at various levels of experience in animation. We had John be the lead animator on Fanservice 2 because he was the kind of the most up to spec in terms of the Eddsworld style.
They use the Discord as kind of like a little hangout session, and they'll tweak each other's work and everything, which is really cool. And it's nice that we've got that kind of really supportive group of people. Then no one's arguing about who gets to do what scene and everything else like that. Everyone's very constructive with their criticism.
You're going to start getting involved in the animation
absolutely.
as well now.
Yeah, but mostly on cleanup bits where I see something that needs reanimating or tweaking, that I'll probably jump in on that.
One thing I really wanted to kind of touch on is the style, is the Eddsworld, like the look and feel of Eddsworld, because that was a huge part of working on Fanservice 2, was getting that style down. And it's like deceptively simple, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot goes into
There's a trick to it. The trick is stop caring. And I mean that in the nicest way. Like, getting it too perfect is the same reason that you don't finish a full animation ever. Ed was like, do a couple lines, and then at some point you just have to go, oh, that'll do, and then you keep moving on. I've had to basically tell them it's too good. It's too clean.
Yeah, a lot of the feedback is sometimes like, oh, it's too fluid. It's too good. It's too like,
the animation's too good. I mean, in the sense that there's too much of it. Like, there's it'll be like that. It'll be like really fluid and flowing, and really was more like very subtlety and like little bits and
At the same time, though, there are a lot of little details, and this is maybe this you can say this for most animated series, and maybe some people watching aren't aware of this, but you can get quite granular with what we call the style guide, which is something that we've been working on as well. We've been building a style guide for Eddsworld. At the same time that you're telling your animators to like not worry too much and be very fluid, you're also saying this specific hand shape is wrong, but that's a mouth that we don't use, but the teeth are at the wrong slant,
Yeah, but on top of that, because we're all adding to the style guide actively, like the style guide isn't locked off at the moment.
Yeah.
We're still adding bits in because so many instances are coming up where you go, well, I haven't been able to explain why that's wrong, but that's a good example of it, so we'll take that in here, and when it's corrected, we put the positive version of it in as well. So the style guide is getting so expansive that if you really need a reference, it will be there.
The way I see it is this is like Ed's style in 2012 plus a few years.
Yeah.
Right? Add a few years of experience, add a few years of refinement, and that's what we're going for. Yeah. The first script for Fanservice 2 was actually written by Jamie and Matt back in 2018, and an early animatic was developed that same year. But because so much time had passed and we were dealing with new animators, we decided to make a new animatic from scratch. Matt and I recorded the lines here in my office. For any audio nerds out there, we used an SE Electronics X1 running into my Onyx Blackjack digital audio interface. Neither of these are very expensive pieces of equipment, but they do the job really well. And I already use Reason Studio to make music, so I recorded into that because it's what I'm used to. Once we had edited the lines, the new first draft animatic was drawn by John, and it looked like this. Then Matt and I got together and spent a few hours cutting and chopping this up, experimenting with pace and trying different music choices.
Maybe instead of the shots like this, maybe it should be from the perspective of the camera, looking up at him, and then we can like side transitions like...
They need to kind of like fade.
Yes, fade in and out.
Fade in and out, like, and crossfade on black.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, it needs to be so much more
Can we have
intense.
some like really one shot where it's like a spotlight and there's two versions of him?
This version of the animatic was much closer to the finished product, but we did still end up changing the music again.
My eyes! In the face? Why the face? That's... Oh, no.
We've posted the full version of this animatic over on our Patreon for any aspiring animators and or nerds to watch if they're interested. Then it started. We entered the proper animation phase. John didn't have access to Adobe Animate at the time, so he was waiting on a new computer to arrive. In the meantime, Vincent blasted ahead with a first draft of almost every shot. This is what it looked like. As you can see, a lot of the DNA is there, but some of the character models and the movement needed to be reworked. We also, and I'm deadly serious, had a 3-hour meeting about pen tool thickness.
The end. Question mark.
Once John was up and running with his new kit, he started on the second draft, breaking down a lot of the shots and reanimating them to make the characters look more Eddsworldy. Matt would pop into the Discord and give feedback on new versions every couple of days, and as we got closer to the finished video, we started having more intensive animation meetings once a week. By this point, Colin had been added to the project as well, and other members of the team would often join these calls and just watch the screen and learn more about the process themselves. It's like a proper collaborative environment, and that's always fun to see. Oh, we were so close! After principal animation was finished, I took John's exports back into Final Cut and started making last minute changes. The amazing thing about animation from my point of view is if you need something changed, something tweaked, you need the framing to be slightly different, or you need the shot to be longer, you can just ask the animator. I'm used to shooting live action film where you get what you're given. The footage is it's set in stone, and reshoots to change something are either incredibly expensive or impossible. There are several shots in Fanservice 2 that I just needed to be a little bit longer, and it was an easy job for John or Colin to hop back into the file in Animate and just copy those frames. By the end of this process, my timeline was a mess. Please do not judge me on this. I am a professional editor, I promise you. Here you can see the central layer is an earlier draft, then I've replaced sections of it with updated shots. Below, in a mix of blue and green, is the music and the sound effects. The last step was Foley, which is a fancy word for recording sound effects. I brought on my friend David to help with that. Most of the sounds you hear in the short were recorded by him in his underwear. And the result of all of this work is Fanservice 2.
My eyes!
The first new Eddsworld video in over 4 years. I love it, and I'm incredibly proud of the team that put it together. From the looks of it, so are you. Your feedback has been so positive so far. You guys were so excited to see a new Eddsworld video that it hit trending pages around the world and reached 1 million views in under 2 days. I wrote like an A4 page memo to the entire production team saying, guys, there's going to be so much hate, there are going to be loads of really insulting comments, just ignore it, please don't engage, step back, don't worry about it, just tweet the video out and then go outside and have a nice weekend, guys, and we'll handle this.
I saw 2 grumpy tweets.
And it was it, yeah.
Not even angry, just a bit.
Just like, I
don't know.
Yeah.
That was it.
It was astounding. We were all braced. I was so ready for so much negative stuff, and it just didn't materialize. That was so nice.
It'll come.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Now the real work begins, right? For the Eddsworld team, Fanservice 2 is like a proof of concept. We have assembled our Adventures. We know we can do it now. We have a great team of animators, a director, a producer, everyone has the right equipment, and everybody understands the style. So we're already looking forward to the next project, and the next, and the next, and we hope you'll stick around to watch them. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure you subscribe to Eddsworld Extra if you want to see more stuff like this. You can also support us over on Patreon, where we post more behind the scenes stuff as well. And Eddsworld is at Eddsworld on both Twitter and Instagram. The links to all our social media will be down in the description. We really enjoyed making Fanservice 2. I hope you really enjoyed listening to me talk about us making Fanservice 2. And leave a comment below letting us know what you'd like to see more of on Eddsworld Extra. You pass me my Don't Mug Me mug full of cold, refreshing water. Thank you. Look, it's very good, and it's...
It's not an ad placement because I'm pretty sure we need to restock on this.
Yeah, I think they're out of stock, so this is very bad.
It's not product placement.
This is bad product placement because you can't get them right now.